Well, my camera shut down on me. It does not like to be cold. My older camera, same way, not as bad. My newer camera, nicer camera, I'll tell you what, it does not like to be cold. It's chilly, it's probably low 50s-ish. But, so, unfortunately, I missed getting some of the wood processing with the tops. But for a little fixed blade, I really like this knife. Again, full review will be coming up on it when, I don't know. But I'm really happy with the blade. And again, this is one I've had for a long time. I'll be honest with you guys, I really don't mind the silence when I get up here. When the camera's not running, of course I'm not talking. And it's just quiet. It's just the sounds of the mountain range. And I love it. I just love how quiet it gets. I think oftentimes life gets too noisy, too busy, too go all the time. That's why I like coming up here and just getting away for a little bit and just focusing on these bare essentials that I need to survive. I'm really drawn to the backpacking, coming out here to nature and just kind of reconnecting, recharging the batteries, so to speak. You know, we could go over a little bit of why I picked this spot. One, because I could. Two, I didn't want to continue walking up the hill. But there was some strategy in me selecting this spot. One, and it already paid off, you saw that earlier, is there are just deer tracks everywhere up here. So I figured I'd run into some. Two, I've got a patch of snow right here, so I could utilize that for water if I need to melt it, which I probably will. And three, or whatever number I'm on now, I've got myself a nice little natural bench. It's nice to keep me up off the ground, and sometimes when I'm hunched over too much, it hurts my back quite a bit. So to have a nice little chair like this, pretty slick. I tell you guys, I just eat this stuff up. Tell you guys what, for fun, let's just chip some corners off this with this little blade. Love the ergos on this thing, you guys. From what I heard, it's really hard to find, and I got pretty lucky. I found it, picked it up real quick. I don't know if that's still the case, if it's still hard to find or not. That is a much better wedge than the last one I tried to improvise. So for some of the new folks that haven't seen this, that may have subscribed in the last little while, small little 3-inch fixed blade like that, can that split a log? Well, not really, but what it can do is be a tool for us to do that. In that, if I really had to, And I had to split that wood. What I can do is get it going and then use my wedge to finish it off. Oh man, that's got a beautiful edge on it. And like I said, I've used it, resharpened it. That is a stubborn piece of wood. One thing too, that's part of the reason right there. See that? If you can see that big old knot right there. One nice thing about splitting the wood is if you don't have a good bed of coals, it's hard to get those big round ones on there and get them working like you want. You can do it, but splitting the wood makes it a lot nicer. Oh man, that knife is a pleasure to use. Fire's spitting at me. I've got mixed emotions about the sheath. This will come out in the full review. It's a leather sheath, open top. I like that quite a bit. I know you guys can't see it too well right now, but it's got this strap on the back with a button. The one aspect I really like about that is you can kind of take it on and off your belt very easily. But when I've been wearing this at home, sometimes when I sit down and it gets certain pressure, I notice that snap pops. So that's one thing I don't like about it. So, I don't know. Again, I'm still kind of ferreting that out. We'll throw that into the full review. I'm really starting to like a lot of the Tops knives that I'm seeing coming out. Gosh, man, that's got a wicked edge on it. And I think I'm gonna get dinner going. Wanted to show you guys something. So this this underquilt, see it has this shock cordage that runs around, and basically it's exposed every so often. So what I did is took this yellow paracord. That's actually what I use to do my knot videos, so you guys can see it easily. But I just had a shank of that, and I laced it in there pretty much just like a shoelace. Tied it up just like a shoe. So that'll kind of cocoon me in there with that. And then in addition, I'll have my sleeping bag inside. These are both pretty lightweight. They're about 32, I think. They're both rated that. So it'll be pushing tonight's limits, I think. But we'll be okay. So I just had some beef stew. I'm all warmed up from sitting by the fire and eating that beef stew. I'm gonna climb in bed. I'll see you guys in the morning. So here, before I go to bed, if I can film this and do this at the same time, but this kind of gives you an idea down there. I don't know if that's what these things are made for or not, but it'll work. So I'll thread it up one more, so it'll be about chest high on this underquilt, and then I'll just kind of cinch it down, and then that'll keep it wrapped around me all night without it falling off. Especially if I kind of just toss and turn during the night. So I'll loop it up to that one right there, and there's actually one more about above head height, but I think I'll just take it to chest height. Okay. I'll just hold it right there. And it's cold. I can see my breath. All right. This time for real. Good night. Good morning. I slept in. I got a new job. It's a good thing. And I have to get up at 3:30 in the morning, so I'm pretty used to getting up at 3:30. I've got a pretty good internal clock. And I got up at 3:30 this morning. I'm like, screw this, I'm going back to bed. So I got to sleep in. Let me show you. So with that underquilt, that's what I ended up doing. That yellow paracord, I just used that. Now, see my feet right down there at the end? When they would poke out like that, boy, I'll tell you what, I could tell the difference. So when I pull them back down in there, man, they'd get really warm. So yeah, underquilt definitely works. And this method works a lot better than how I had it rigged up last time. Not that a ridge line is really that hard to set up, it's not. But it was kind of nice not to have just one more step into, you know, the multitude of steps that need to be done. But I'll tell you what, one thing I did miss about having a ridge line in here is the ability to hang stuff from it. I really, really like that aspect. Especially when you're laying in bed. I mean, you can kind of improvise and just hang stuff from the cords. But so let's talk about those deer, man. That was cool. Here's my setup. This is how I had it. I opened it up. Of course, I closed it during the night, and I just dropped the sides of the tarp down. But if we turn around, they started way down there and came up. But this is how close they got. Sometimes these cameras, they don't always show you the they can be a little misleading with the steepness of the terrain and with distance at times. So this is where they were. So you guys, it kind of give you a sense of me just walking down to right where they were versus where my tarp and hammock is. There's a footprint right here. They were just running all over right down in here, and then they ended up taking off in that direction and heading back up in the basin there. So that was pretty cool, man. That was I mean, so what I was actually sitting in the tarp, and they certainly saw the tarp, the hammock. They saw me, but they didn't know what to make of it. I'm surprised my scent didn't give me away. But yeah, I mean, you could see in the video that they were certainly checking me out. But I just was kind of hunkered down in the tarp, so you could barely see my face, my upper body, because it was mostly covered by the tarp. And I just had the camera out filming them. That was a fun experience. With the light rain I had last night, the tarp did perfect. In the heavy rain and snow that I had it out in last weekend, it worked very well. I like the setup. These cords on it seem to be a little stiff. Sometimes they're kind of hard to tie. Maybe just they need break-in, possibly. Who knows? It could be replaced with paracord. I don't know if it needs it. I'm not going to do it yet. Kind of fill it out. Comfort on the Eno double nest. I like it. Now, again, kind of how we had this vote thing versus the war bonnet. This is my first complete night in the Eno. In comparison to the war bonnet, honestly, at this point, I find the war bonnet more comfortable. It's easier to get that diagonal lay and sleep a little more flat. That said, I'm not saying that the Eno double nest is uncomfortable. It's just that the war bonnet
personally I find to be more comfortable. However, the Eno, again, at this point, my first impressions of actually spending an entire night on it, we've set this up in the backyard and just hung out in it, but having spent my first night in it, I really like it. At this point, I would recommend it. It's a good, cheaper alternative for hammocking. You got to learn your system a little bit. These do look complicated. They're really not, guys. Once you figure it out and get it going, it's a matter of just setting it up and then making a few adjustments and you're good to go. It's not bad. Some of you that were involved in that Facebook discussion about this trip, there was some requests to do a gear loadout, an updated gear loadout. And I will do that, but I'll do it when I get home because I need to save the battery life as much as possible. So definitely we'll do that, give an updated system, maybe some thought process, philosophy behind some of the stuff, and we'll certainly flush that one out. For now, being that I've dropped my pack and I'm not weighed down, I'm going to leave the old hammock here and we're going to head up this hill, see what's up in this basin, just have some fun. Almost to the top. Oh, it looks to be the top. Beautiful area. Steep too. You can see the top of the mountains that's creating this little basin or bowl. Starting to flatten out a little bit. So I'm getting there. Kind of see the mountains through the trees there, getting a little more of a view. Oh man, I just can't get enough of this stuff. Oh, this is cool, man. See, this is where I originally wanted to come and spend the night. But I'll be honest, that weight of the pack, because I'm carrying a lot of extra stuff. I decided just to hang tight on the hill halfway up. Oh yeah, that's awesome. A little meadow down here. There goes some little bird. Oh yeah, this is cool. Go ahead and check it out. That was a fun little exploration trip. Now I'll head back to camp and see what to do next. That's in part what I really like coming up here too, is there's no agenda. You know, I just get to do what I want. No deadlines. It's nice. So that place that I went, that's originally where I was thinking of going. The effort to get up there with the heavy of the pack as I have this time, because I've just got a lot of camera equipment, that kind of stuff, I thought, nah, I'll hold off this time. Maybe for a 2-day, 3-day trip, that would be an awesome place. Get up in there and hang out. The one caveat to that is water. How do I manage water up there? Because unless I can find a spring. There's a lot of water up there right now, a lot of snow up there right now, but then later on in the year, that might be an issue. So these are the types of things I think about, put in my data bank in the brain, I guess, for future trips. So a lot of times, even though it's a trip, I'm doing a lot of scouting for future trips. So this is one way that I figured makes it a lot easier for me to pack and getting out of here if it fits. I'm tired of stuffing things in bags, because when I get home I got to take it out, let it air out, and I hang it up. So when I pack up, screw it, man. I just stuff it in there and we're good to go. Can't do that with the tent, or it's very hard, I guess. Well, I'm gonna pack up and head on out. There's a few things I need to get done at home, and I'm honestly excited to go home, see my wife and my kids. So nice Friday, Labor Day weekend, nice long weekend. I'm looking forward to it, man. As always, guys, thanks much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you.